What a day that was. I wonder if I'm ever going to be able to come here in front of this damn camera and say I'm not tired. One day. But this is the time of year, right? So what we do, went out to the boat last evening and then got out there too late to go for fish. Got up this morning, took Sarah's brother and her niece out for their very first time on the boat, and we got a bunch of salmon for him. It was pretty cool. He's had an unfortunate accident at work and he's going to lose his leg. He was clipped onto, his safety harness clipped onto a concrete wall, and the crane was as well clipped onto the concrete wall, picked it up and slapped him against the building a few times, and it resulted in his leg being basically dead, hanging off his body. It's real unfortunate. But we managed to get him in the boat, and he loves fishing, and he caught a few great salmon this morning, so that was pretty cool. But that was a 4:30 a.m. get up and go start. Took him up first, and then what happened? Went out in the fog, rocked some salmon out, came back in, ate, grabbed the girls, went back out again and got him a big one. And a couple more, and then bashed away on the logging roads and got all the way back home finally, and it is so hot here, it's stupid. So I went down for a swim in the river. Got the horses all drinked up, and now I'm in my cool shop, and I'm gonna share some emails and have my own few minutes of time here. I don't even have the energy to rant. How depressing is that? Although there's probably a bunch of people going, thank God. Let's get right into it. These are more emails that I've missed out on, sent to all of us a while back, months back. Listen to this. And oh yeah, so the fisheye lens. I don't think Sony makes a camera that films properly in low light. I've been filming hunting early in the morning, first light, dark days in the timber. Sony sucks. And this DSLR camera works great, but the other lens for this camera is in the boat. So I'm stuck with the fisheye for right now, unless I'm gonna go out and venture out into that sun outside, which I'm not going to. It's just way too hot. So this is fairly comfortable. It's all about the stories anyway. Not watching my ugly mug around here in the timber, but I'll be up in the mountains pretty quick to show you guys some crazy shit soon. Okay, there's my little rant. Now I'll get on to sharing the stories. Creature running behind my dad's car. Hello, Steve. A 22-year-old male from the Peace region. I enjoy listening to your videos on my drive to and from work behind Fort St. John and Dawson Creek. I've been listening to you for well over a year now. I enjoy your straight to the point, no bullshit attitude. Right on, man. Thanks for your kind words. This is my father's story from the mid-90s. He said he was driving home down a back road one night and saw a movement in his rear view mirror. He said he looked up and saw an 8 to 9 foot tall creature run across the road and into the ditch and then across the back again to the side it came from. He said every hair in his body stood up as he put his foot down to get the hell out of there. He only told me the story once and it seemed to still freak him out. He's not sure what he saw as he couldn't make out any details. He just knew that it was tall and fast. After hearing the many other encounters, I'm pretty sure my dad saw a Sasquatch. Thank you for all you do and keep spreading the truth. Sorry to hear about the loss of Mr. Macaroni. I know the bond between a man and his horse. It's like losing a brother. Keep the good fight. Jared S., Fort St. John, BC. B.S. if you're ever up to Fort St. John, I enjoy meeting up and taking you for lunch. All right, Jared. Super grateful you sent that in, man. And you know by now there is a lot of sightings up around your neighborhood. And you probably know that I've spent a shit pile of time at Fort St. John myself. Pipelined a few years back out of there too. But as well, I know a lot of people around there through my 20 years of guiding, right? And the Peace region, it's on fire. There's no shortage of sightings in the Peace region. There's just not. They're all over the place. And I guarantee you there's a shit pile of you guys out there at Fort St. John around the Peace region who are too proud or too insecure to admit publicly you've seen these things and you've seen them and you're watching me talk about it right now. I'll guarantee it. Maybe one day you guys can get up a set of nuts and email in your encounter and speak openly with confidence about it, all right? Because it's actually harmless and it'll probably help get some shit off your chest, all right? So let her rip. If you want to, just let her rip and email it to me. Hey Steve, I'm glad you're taking up this topic and are standing up for the truth. I want to tell you about my encounters. First, I need to tell you about my grandfather's stories. When he was young, probably in the 30s, he told my mom these stories and he would tell me the exact same thing. I don't want them to get lost. I'm the only one that can tell these stories. Both my grandfather and my mom are gone. I'm 57 and I still remember how serious he was when he told these stories. My name is Paul and I live in Grafton, West Virginia. This happened in Fairview, West Virginia. My grandfather grew up there, and he said when he was a kid that in the summertime, when he was at the neighbor's house playing with his friend, if he lost track of time and it started to get dark, he would panic because something would chase him home on his bike. He said it was huge. It would wait on him and chase him all the way home. Sometimes it would slap the side of the house beside the door. And that sucks. That would so suck. That's the first creature he told me about. The second one is even more weird. He said that something would jump up into his second-story bedroom window. It was open because they didn't have AC. They would just take out the window. But it would jump up into his window and would pull down his covers. So he and his brother would pull them back up. He said it looked like a werewolf. Could this be a dog man? I thought he was crazy, but he said that he put a board in the window one night and put the rain barrel below the window. That night, if it tried to jump up and hit the board, it fell into the barrel. That night, it tried to jump up and hit the board and fell into the barrel. His dad never believed him until he heard the thing land in the barrel. It busted the barrel and left deep claw marks on the side of the house. That's what he would tell me all the time. I never believed him until something started to happen around our house. We lived in New Martinsville, West Virginia. It all started when I was about 8 or 9. We started to smell a horrible odor, and the dogs would force themselves onto our front screen in porch. The first time my mom opened the front door, the dogs bolted in the house. They hid under the sofa. They would be shaking uncontrollably. It would be nighttime, and all we knew was we could smell something horrible. We didn't think much about it. Steve would play in the woods all the time. We spent much of our time running through the woods, even at night. I have four older brothers. All of us never thought about it until one day we were going up this little creek bed. It was winter and there was snow on. So we were walking on the ice and being kids. It's a very rural area, but town was about 5 miles away as the crow flies. We got a couple of miles up this creek and it was starting to get dark, but with snow on it, it was still late enough to see. We came to an old barbed wire fence. We started to cross it when this tree stump stood up and walked up the hill. We had seen this black tree stump and it did look odd. It was black and it had no snow on it, so it stood out. But when it moved, we could tell it was hairy and very big. It really scared the crap out of us. We ran the other direction. It was then we started to realize that we needed to watch out. Fast forward a couple of years, my brother and I were running around at night. We had walked to town and were walking back home. Steve was the 70s and we were young and stupid, but it was summer and we were in great shape and loved to be out. Like I said, we were heading home about 11 at night, and when we got about a mile from home, when this thing stepped out right in front of us, the terror that I felt was almost indescribable. We turned around and ran back about 40 yards and stopped. There it was standing in the road. It was about 9 feet tall. It was slouching a bit and swayed back and forth. There was a dusty dawn light about 200 feet behind it. Steve, we stood there in a standoff for a couple of minutes. We didn't know what to do. It was between us and home. It just stood there in the middle of the road. So we decided to wait on a car to come and flag them down, but that could be hours. Luckily, a car came up the road and we could hear it. So we tried to flag them down, but they would not stop. So we ran alongside the car till we passed by where this thing was standing. I don't know what happened to it, but when the car's light hit us, it was gone. We ran that mile home in record time. Steve, this has changed my life. I have other stories and I will save them for another time. Thank you for your time. Steve, you can use my name. It's Paul Oates. If you ever get down this way, I'd love to meet you and shake your hand. I would like to take you out for dinner, and if you want, I'll give you a ride in my Shelby Mustang. If you're into that kind of thing, thanks for all you do, Paul. Paul, this email sounds familiar. I may have read it before. I'm not sure. The Shelby thing stands out because I am the Chevrolet guy. I got a 68 Camaro. And I would love to go for a burn of that Shelby, man. That'd be freaking awesome. And thank you so much for your kind words and your support and sharing your experience, everybody here through me with the people, all right? Because if you fellas seen that, chances are somebody else that lives near there, around there, probably seen the same thing as well, too, right? And they just might be listening here right now, and they just might need to hear that somebody else saw what they saw, so they don't think their asses were that crazy, right? Steve. I've written to you before. The email subject title was Young and Stupid. I won't rehash any of that stupid rather than to reiterate stupid and remind you of my family's love for the white water and the outdoors. On to the point. When I was 10 years old, we were canoeing on another fast river in western Arkansas. We had arrived early in the afternoon following a drive from Tulsa and a set camp as usual. In the state park we were at was a shell cliff that was at least 90 to 100 feet high. I was recounting the event I'm about to state to a friend. The way I'm going to tell it is the way I remember it for 48 years, and was the way I recalled it that day. Excuse me. I'd examined the shell cliff on many occasions and had never had the nerve, or maybe I had better sense when I was a little younger, to attempt to free climb the rugged and extremely loose rock face. I had by this point in my young life ascended 2 different mountain peaks and had free climbed several challenging faces and thought I had a grasp of the sport. I began the ascent thinking I would just go a few feet just to see if it could be done at all. Before I knew it, I'd reached about 30 feet. When I realized how far I'd gone, it was the first time I had ever truly faced death fear. I mean, it hit me hard. When I looked over my shoulder and I couldn't see the ground, my knees went weak because I knew there was no turning back. The rock was so loose that every time I shifted my weight on the hand and footholds, whatever had the lightest weight would disintegrate under me. Oh, dude, that sucks. I knew I couldn't take a 20-foot fall or more into a jagged shell, so I continued up the face. I had to dig the rock out at every new handhold until it got solid enough to put weight on, and then the rock would crack and crumble as I moved upwards. Oh, that sounds like a creepy-ass movie. I finally reached the top and crawled to a nearby tree and fell asleep from exhaustion. Yeah, adrenaline will absolutely annihilate you. For about an hour before making my way back to camp. I never told anyone about that incident because I knew I'd be in huge trouble, enough that I might not be allowed to accompany the family in the field again. There were consequences in our house for doing stupid things. By now I'm sure you're thinking, why am I reading this? Well, remember the friend hearing the story? That was the first time I ever told that, and it is exactly as I remembered at the time. However, that night I had a dream. It started out exactly as above, but when I got to the part when I looked over my shoulder I couldn't see the ground, well, this is where it changed. I looked over my shoulder, I couldn't see the ground, but I could see the trees on the other side of the ravine/hillside behind me. It was very steep and heavily wooded, with scrub oak, dogwood, red buds, and other hardwoods and brush too thick to travel through. I was thinking, oh shit, I'm too high and screwed. Panic was just about to show up in spades when, from within the thicket behind me, I heard what sounded like a boulder coming down the hillside. The noise was so loud that I was distracted from my situation enough that I craned my head around enough to see, at just below eye level, the top of a Bigfoot's head as he burst from the thicket. He had to be at least 18 feet tall, as I was almost looking right into his bright yellow eyes. The shock was so great I nearly fell. As I struggled with the collapsing wall, pieces of shell broke off from my hands and I was scrambling for anything solid to hang on to. The Bigfoot sprung up the face and grabbed me by my waist. His hand easily wrapped around the full girth of my 28-inch waist as he chainsawed his way up the face of the cliff. In the dream, it was like slow motion as he ripped the rock away faster than we could fall and climbed like a supercharged rock crawler buggy does, throwing a steam and gravel behind him and with bursting sensations of ascent. In a flash, we were at the top of the cliff and he put me down at the top of the tree, where I awoke from the dream in a pant. I no longer know what the truth is. Was this a repressed memory brought out, or was it just a very vivid dream? What are your thoughts? Let me read that last part again. In a flash, we were at the top of the cliff and he put me down at the foot of the tree where I awoke from the dream in a pant. So what you're saying is you fell asleep by that tree, possibly cliffed out, dreamt this happened, but you awoke in safety at the end of that dream. So I think that's what you're trying to tell us. You're asking me what I think about that? I think that is absolutely holy shit. Right? That's what could I say to that besides holy shit? That'd be a pretty bizarre experience, especially if you thought you dreamt it, but you woke up in safety, panting from the stress. Wow. What do you even say to that one, man? Have we heard anybody report into having I think we've had a few people say they dreamt something vivid and real, and it turns out it wasn't a dream, but they thought it was. There's not much I can say, because I'm definitely no expert, but if that's what you say happened to you, that's what happened to you. How do you explain waking up in safety, right? Although you had that vivid dream. What a crazy experience if that went down, right? Wow. Thanks for sharing that, man. And I am not the guy to sort out the mystery of what went down that day with you on that cliff, but lucky for you, you survived it, right? I've only once had clipped myself out and had a sheep hunter with me. And I got committed and I went up this draw through a drain and went across this chunk of cliff that I knew I probably shouldn't have done it. We made it across and there was no way we're climbing back. And I remember being absolutely stressed. I wouldn't be able to find a way down off that mountain. But I eventually did, thank God, because the guy was definitely not a young guy. I talked him into doing it. I know that feeling about getting cliffed out. I just stumbled on your channel, was immediately drawn into your no-nonsense and honest approach, striving to provide the truth with no bullshit attached. This world is nothing but BS right now. We've fed it all our lives. It's not until the last 30 years of my 66 years that I've come to realize that with my in-depth research into how this world is run, the truth has become a novelty these days, so I really appreciate your fastidious honesty and care for this beautiful planet. Here's our story from my brother James and I from the mid-70s. You can use our names and the location if you like. Thank you. And thank you for the kind words. Let's get into it. My brother and I were back camping in the depths of the Shenandoah Mountains in Virginia back in the middle 70s. We went to bed in our separate tents, talking back and forth between tents, and we both realized at the same time the forest had got all quiet all of a sudden, and we both instantly got the creeps. We agreed to stifle our speech and just listen. Then we heard the break of what we thought were large fallen tree branches that continued until something charged my tent and was snorting and growling right outside the tent fabric. I told James whatever it was right outside my tent. We had no weapons, but James shouted out, "We have guns and we'll shoot you." Just then, whatever it was, it backed up and walked away from my tent. And I say walked because as we compared notes later, whatever it was bipedal. We didn't figure it was a bear, but there were plenty of them at the time. We knew later that it walked on 2 feet and must have been very heavy to break huge branches like that. You can tell from the sound, and which we could never figure out why it responded so quickly to my brother's warning. Could it understand English or just the intent or hostility in his voice? At the time, we both knew nothing of Sasquatch, but many years later, we're thinking it may have been one, putting together all the clues. I still don't know for sure. But one thing I do know, I can still remember that chilling gut feeling at the time that something was terribly wrong and had this sense of something wicked, deadly, and / or evil at the time. I've never had that feeling again. I've never gone back camping again either. I've had lots of people tell me that I shouldn't let one incident spoil my enjoyment of the woods. I believe that and do enjoy being in nature, but I still can't forget that bone-chilling feeling I had so many years ago. And I'm now a lot more intelligent about what is or may be out there. Wow. Yeah, that would suck. That would scare the crap out of anybody. But you know, just like you said, it's not just like a stupid innocent bear, right? Trust me, I don't know if you followed my channel since before I shared and admitted that I was new about these things, but before that I was sharing my hunting stories, which everybody was really liking. And I have a lot of hair-raising grizzly bear experiences. And I can assure every single one of you out there that not once in my lifetime have I ever felt dread or sensed evil or dread ever from a known wild North American game animal, especially grizzly bears, wolves, black bears, wolverine. I've never experienced dread and terror feelings dumped on me from them without them running at me or, you know, trying to chew on me. So take that note, right? And from how everybody's described that feeling to us, especially the military veterans who have been in firefights and killed and seen friends blown up, 100% of them so far have said that their encounter with the Sasquatch being was way more terrifying than war. That's substantial, right? Obviously, this man that just shared this email through me for you, for us, just made it clear he doesn't go in the woods anymore just because of that dread, that feeling of terror that he felt. That something evil was right there, right? This is a substantial feeling, man. And it's something that I somewhat stress about because I mean, I've seen these things, they've scared the shit out of me, I've heard them a few times, seen them a couple times. I can't afford to have, I don't want it ruined for me. If I can't go in the woods anymore, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna shrivel up and die, right? It's a shitty thing, especially these new zones that I'm going to go to soon that are nearby here, and there's a pile of activity where I will be going here, and does it make me feel anxious? Yes, it does, I'll admit it. Yeah, it makes me feel anxious thinking about it when I'm inside, but that's usually when I get, my anxiety about it is usually when I'm inside thinking about where I'm about to go, not while I'm there doing it. But just like my new neighbor just told me, straight up guy, business owner, super dude. And he just told me about his family and their dog going up a road not too far from here, and they heard some crazy ass sounds coming out of the trees above them. I said, what kind of sounds? Like animal sounds or forest crunching? He goes, no, sounds from something alive. And he said their dog, who was usually a basket case, runs after everything, was terrified. And they were terrified and they left. And he also had the employee who's had one run across in front of him and his friend on the Banfield Road, which I was driving on today. So that's just 2 from the first person in the neighborhood I've talked to this about. Boom. 2 different stories out of him, right? It's very, very common. Babbling. Got to get back to sharing people's stuff here. I hope I haven't read this one, but here we go. This is called Chetwynd, BC Encounter. Chetwynd, tons of sightings, where I had some experiences just last year. Back in the late 70s, I was working as an industrial first aid attendant on an oil rig south and west of Chetwynd, BC. I grew up in the Okanagan Valley on a farm. We hunted deer and birds in the area and traveled to other areas to hunt as well. I'm not a stranger to bears, and I've been up close and personal with a few. I used to take my ambulance a couple of clicks. Well, sorry I read that one. Damn it, why do I have these emails? Oh, here we go. Here we go, finally I found the one that I lost. This is the one with the person who sketched the description. Thank God I found this. I thought about this the other day. All right, here we go. Grizzly vs. Sasquatch sketch. I've read this, but the sketch was great. I shared that on the community page a while back, a month and a bit ago. Hey Steve, you said recently about how you'd like people to send in a sketch of what they had seen. I've always kept a journal of my travels, just for general knowledge. I like to sketch mostly anything I've found interesting, such as mutated fish, weird, crazy animals, etc. I'm definitely not an artist, nor would I ever claim to be one. It's just a hobby to pass the time while I'm exploring. You read my encounter about the bear versus grizzly. I don't like to say story because to me it means just that, a good story. Mine was very real. I don't care if others don't believe, I know it was real, and to me that's all that matters. I would never belittle, scoff, or disbelieve anyone's encounter, ever. They know what happened, and that's what's important to them. I've included a photo of the sketch I made later that day, and also what I had written in my journal. It does not matter if you share what I wrote. I mostly wanted to share this sketch to see if it's similar what others have seen. My journal entry is mostly the ramblings of a very shaken up person at the time. Really brought back that day when I sat down and read it over to share with you. Hopefully the sketch is clear enough to see it. It was done with only a HB pencil and stuffed in an old backpack in my shed for 8 years, so it's gotten a little faded. I was just going to send photos of what I had written in my journal, but it is mostly illegible, probably because I was truly shaken to the core at the time. Instead, I'll write out what I wrote, even if it makes me sound completely crazy that day. This is going to be great. I know my sketch looks nothing like what mainstreamers would like us to believe, but it is accurate, a sketch as to what I really saw that day, as I could portray. This is what I wrote in my journal. July 13th, 2013, temperature 22 degrees, 2:30 p.m., camped at blank off Nordegg River Road. Tents up, bedding in, gonna fish for my supper. Probably stay a couple of days, then head for the Gap, Blackstone Gap. Holy F. Back at the truck, can't believe what just happened. Don't know what just happened. There was definitely a huge, damn hairy man. Calm down, take a breath, breathe girl, breathe. Damn, I feel dizzy. I must have been holding my breath the whole damn time. My heart is beating so loud in my head. Where did I get this cut in my arm? Jesus, ran the whole way out. Where's the damn paper towel? Okay, calm down a bit. Drove down the road a ways, parked on lease number blank. I'm gonna sit a while and gather my thoughts. Too shaky to drive. Almost flagged that B train down just to sound like a blithering idiot telling about what just happened. Smart move that would have been. They would have committed me for telling something as fantastically unbelievable as this. That guy, the hairy guy, was at least 8 feet, 400 pounds easy. He didn't even see me. Why? Seen them before walking through the bush, long ways away, thank God. Wow, this did just freaking really happen. Could I have really shot him if he came for me? Had my hand on the rifle, never killed a human before, never want to either. Been taught the whole him or me scenario. Would it have kicked in? His eyes and face, everything about him was human. If it had been some big-ass grizzly wanting to eat me, sure, yes, definitely. Would I have time to get a shot off? The way he stood there staring after that little grizzly, that was a man, a huge freaking man covered in reddish-brown hair. One enormous, hairy man holding a tree, for God's sake. If that was a Sasquatch, aren't they supposed to smell? The only thing I know that smells bad is a dang bear after they roll around in rotten carcass. No smell from this guy. And what about that owl? Was he trying to tell me that was about to go down and I wasn't listening? Apparently all I was listening to was my damn stomach, and that ain't getting any fuller anytime soon because you left the fish for the damn hairy man, idiot. There was an intelligence behind those eyes. I wonder how he cut his foot. I really wonder what the hell the bear did to piss him off. Damn, his chest was heaving up and down. He was definitely maxed out chasing that bear. I still hear his heavy breathing. Why didn't he see me? Or did he? If he did, then why did he walk away and without even looking my way? I didn't even hear his footsteps. Maybe because of the pounding in my head? Shouldn't something or someone that big make noise when they walk? He walked heel to toe. Yes, heel to toe. Dirty brown, bare feet, huge damn feet. Jesus, how does any of this make sense? Could it have been? No other explanation. No, none. I think I'll go down to Fish Lake for a few days, call Elle, see if she'll bring the boat down. Just feel the need to be around people for a few days. Oh my God, it's almost 6 now. Been sitting here over an hour trying to make some sense of this. Better stash 300 and get on the road. Gonna do a sketch later. Maybe it'll help me process just what exactly has happened. Remember, when the kids ask how the fishing was, tell them just awesome, real awesome. As you can see, I was just rambling. I scribbled everything I was seeing and feeling. Shook me up pretty good. I've always prided myself on being a calm, collected person, even in accidents and emergencies, and especially in the bush. As you well know, Steve, if it's only you out there, then you better damn well keep your head on straight or you're not coming back. It's not a fluffy Disney film out there. This was something way out of my comfort zone that I don't ever wish to repeat. Like you say, Steve, just not into it. The area my encounter occurred in is or was densely treed. It is heavily logged now and has been mostly used for oil field and logging purposes for many years. There are many people and oil field workers that know this area well and also view your channel. Maybe some of them could share what they have seen. If these are an ancient race of people, then why can't society leave them alone? Because it's human nature to destroy what we don't understand. History has proven just that. I really don't think we will get all the answers we are all seeking regarding these beings in our lifetime, but a lot of the pieces are coming together thanks to people like you, Steve, giving all of us a voice to share experiences and finally exorcise some of the demons that haunt many of us. Take care out there, Steve, and best of luck with your new place, Jem. Absolutely appreciate that email to us that you shared with all the people through me. It was a valuable experience that we just had shared with us. And that was the story where the woman was out fishing, and I believe she heard some strange owl sounds originally, and then all of a sudden the grizzly came barreling out of the woods with this thing with a huge branch and tree in his hand right behind it, chasing the bear away. Imagine seeing that? Like, think about it. Picture that. Hopefully that our experiencer just put us right there with a story. She put me there with it. I remember the original one. I just couldn't imagine sitting there and that comes busting out in plain view right in front of you. Incredible. Just like you said, there's lots of people that you know up there who watch this channel. There is a shit pile of people watching this channel. There's a shit pile of people wanting to hear honest knowledge. They want the answers. And I wonder what the ratio is between, what the ratio is when it comes to people who have seen but aren't sharing, but are watching, to people who have seen and are sharing and watching. I wonder what that ratio is. Because the amount of people who are sharing is absolutely phenomenal. I don't think we've seen this many people come forward in history. Have we? Since the internet's come forward? Even books being written about it? I mean, have we really seen these numbers of people coming forward with their experiences ever before? I don't think so, because I'm blown away by the sheer numbers. Like, holy cow, it is such a common thing. And then it makes you realize, holy shit, what an effort they are putting in to keep the information about this topic away from us. Isn't that suppressed from being common public knowledge? Isn't that amazing? Doesn't it just make you wonder why? And it sure it's led me down a shit pile of different rabbit holes away from the Sasquatch topic. Like I said before, I don't understand how so many people just stay absolutely obsessed with Sasquatch. I don't get it. It's the easiest, it's one of, right now, especially with these numbers of people, it's one of the most easiest examples to show and prove to everyone in the world that we're being lied to and misled. It's too easy, right? And then once you start wondering, trying to find out why, and then you start trying to find out what else are they lying about, what else is the majority of the population being kept from, then you start cracking open more rabbit hole doors. Then you start meeting more very intelligent people who are getting more confidence to share shit with you. And then things start coming to get together, and then you start getting angry, and you start getting pissed off, and then you want to grab those misleading, opportunistic, power-monging bastards, and you want to snap their necks, right? There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. The negative impact they're having on society. Anyway, I'm obviously very tired, and I'm starting to ramble, and I gotta go. And I'm getting caught up tomorrow. I'm sleeping in tomorrow no matter what. And then, I'm still sharing these from months back, and I'm gonna keep doing it until I get everybody heard. But I will break free and catch up. I haven't even cracked open the emails for over a week. You imagine how many emails are in there right now? I'm almost scared to crack open the emails right now. See how many pages and pages and pages there are people emailing in. It's crazy how many people are emailing in. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just time. Maybe it's just time that this needed to be done. It's time it needs to go down, and it's creating a tidal wave of good, honest people linked up, arm to arm, moving forward, demanding answers and honesty, right? And respect. But it's coming. All right, stopping my ramble. Take two. Talk to you guys later, sooner. Be safe out there.